Hello and welcome to the Trail and Adventure Motorbike Podcast with me, Clive Barber, and my good mate, Noel Tom. For the days when you can't ride your bike, there's always the Trail and Adventure Motorbike Podcast. This is our 100th episode, but it's not the only 100th episode because we've got some other stuff lined up which I just need to finalise. So this is just part one, and I'm not sure how quickly we'll be able to get parts 2 and 3, possibly even parts 4 of our 100th episode together. I'm cheating. I messaged quite a few people and quite a few of them said yes, which is quite unexpected.
It's 100 for you, isn't it? But it's not 100 for me.
Actually, it isn't, because some of them are rewinds, so it's a total fabrication, really. So there's about 5 or 6 I put on in the summer when we were on holiday and things like that. But it is literally, there's 99 episodes, this will be the 100th, and I'm sticking with it.
It's a lot of editing time for you, isn't it? That's incredible.
So let's say it's 100 hours, probably isn't. Times that by 5, that's 500 hours.
Buongiorno. It's Ollie Moto here, you know, that guy who won the award for favourite TAMP podcast guest in 2023. No biggie, not going to go on about it. Listen, I'm walking through Rome at the moment, which is a very cool city that I recommend everyone listening visits because it is cool. But it is filled with a lot of very, very old buildings that are falling apart, and some of the back alleys smell like urine. And for some reason, that reminded me of you two, Clive and Noel. I just wanted to say a big congratulations to TAMP for dragging this podcast out for 100 episodes. Honestly, I can't believe you've kept everyone's attention for this long. Keep up the good work, gents, and I'm sure that soon we'll be able to celebrate another milestone, which will probably be when you manage to break a speed limit on those stupid little bikes of yours. Any speed limit, even the 20 zones. Anyway, that'll do. Take it easy. Ciao.
What are your memories of when I first said to you, this is what I want to do? Can you remember the conversation?
Well, I sent you that photograph the other day that Greg took of us on the way back from the Netherlands. And in a way, I see that photograph as the start of it all, even though that photograph was probably taken way before.
What?
Can you just get that stuff on
This is like that bit on the news where the guy's wife came in and ushered the kid out of the room.
Similar to that.
I see that photograph and think, oh, I'm sure that's what made us start thinking about it. Or we talked about it on that trip, maybe.
What photograph was it?
The photograph was on that campsite, that terrible campsite that we nearly got kicked off at 12 o'clock at night because we arrived very late in the Peak District.
Yeah.
And that picture was taken, a lovely picture Greg took the next day. I was telling Ashley how long it's been going on for. She didn't believe me because there was that weird COVID times when we should have been prolific and we didn't. We just sat on our arses and did very little because we hadn't really got our head around doing it remotely.
I had got my arse into gear about doing it remotely, but the problem was I was doing about 6 hours a day of remote conferencing anyway for work, and the last thing I wanted to do was finish up that and get on another one for fun in the evening, because it wouldn't have been fun. So I had a horrible lockdown. Our first one we did in 2018, so it's kind of like six years we've been going. But do you know how many episodes we did in the first 4 years?
Well, it was ridiculous. It was like 6 or something.
17.
17.
In the first 4 years. Last year, 23, we did 39 episodes, and the year before that, in 22, we did 36 episodes. So it's only really been going for the last 2 years, effectively.
But like so many things in my life, we were limited by our imaginations, I feel. Because we just kind of got in touch with everyone we knew that had done stuff and literally met them face to face. And then once we'd run out of people that we knew, we were kind of stuck, really. And then we thought, oh, hang on a minute. There's loads more people. And even now I'm thinking of people that once upon a time I would never, ever have thought of. As I say, I think we were limited by our stupidity.
I'm not so sure imagination or stupidity. I just think it's like, who the fuck are we to ring people up and go, do you want to be on our podcast? We've got over 12 listens and 3 episodes in the bag. Who's going to say yes to that apart from our friends?
What were the listening figures in the first few years?
I honestly can't remember. So what I was doing was I was just putting them on Facebook and things like that, putting links in. It's just been consistently growing, I guess. But obviously, when we started off, it was tiny. The first episode we did in your downstairs living room. Second episode was a tech special with John Ross, who still won't come on and do another episode with us to update us on what's going on, even though we see him relatively frequently and I swap message very regularly. The third one was Greg, our friend Greg, off of Adventure Spec, or back then he was just Greg Villalobos, adventure filmmaker. Then it's my mate Peter, who used to run Wilderness Wheels in Morocco. Steve Stout and Stout lady Lucy Dunn. We were talking about the work that Steve does to maintain lanes.
This is very dangerous, this whole listing people thing. You're going to either miss people out or get to a point and then stop, and you're going to miss someone out.
We're going to miss loads of people, Lex. There's 100 episodes, so I'm not going to go through them all. But they were the first few. And it's basically people that we already knew and had something interesting to say.
I think we should mention Chris. Chris was good, wasn't he? My friend
Chris Bone. Yeah. Well, you've had a good few mates that have been on. Dan and Ed as well. They were particularly good.
Dan and Ed. Neil.
Yeah. And then we kind of ran out of people, really. We started doing things like we'd talk about our own trips. So we did a northern trip. That must have been just after lockdown when we were finally allowed out. Did a tour of the north, didn't we?
Yeah. Another tech trip around the Northumberland area.
We've done episodes about the tech. We've done beginner's guides. We've done episodes on trip planning, on the type of kit you should wear, on bike tech, perfect tech or trail bike, first aid episodes with Ollie, bike preparation and maintenance with Joe and Adam. We've done episodes on racing. We've done one on the ACT, and then we've done some riding tips with Lel. So it's not just world travellers.
I think we should go back and do some more of, without covering the same ground, to find a way of doing more of those again with that whole Will, Alex crowd and Rupert and all that gang. They were great fun.
I think the ones I've enjoyed the most have often been either with our friends, because it's just easy to have a nice, fun conversation, or again, because we didn't know anybody, we did some episodes with people that listen to the podcast. So Dan and Alan, Alex and Magnus about his Iron Butt ride. So these were people that listened to the podcast. I invited to people to come on and tell us about trips they'd done. We should do more of those.
Some of the most memorable ones for me are the ones I wasn't a part of. They really stick in my memory for some reason because I don't know, it's fun to listen to them for the first time like that.
We don't get to listen to a trail and adventure motorbike podcast, do we? Because, well, that was the thing. I started it because nobody else did one until about a year later we found out there was Adventure Rider Radio. We're very different to that, aren't we? It's not as funny as us. And he doesn't swear as well, or at all, possibly.
I think you're swearing less, probably.
Fuck off. Yeah, possibly.
Do you get hassle from Mrs. Barber about all the swearing?
No, she's like a fucking trooper herself.
Do you have friends who perhaps aren't interested in motorcycles, but you know would enjoy the podcast, but there's just no way you can get them to listen to it? I've got a friend that I'm constantly pestering to listen to it. And I saw him last week and I said, did you hear that one? Because he mentioned one. I said, did you listen to it? And he just went, some of it. I can't get my very close friends to listen to it.
And these are biker friends?
Well, they're not. So it's fair enough in a way, but still. You think just out of curiosity they would listen to it, but they don't.
I would never expect anybody that isn't into motorbikes to listen to our podcast, but we both know our wives listen to it and enjoy it. And I think people that aren't into bikes enjoy the World Traveller episodes. People with a story about where they've been and where they've travelled. And it's almost irrelevant that they're on motorbikes. They've just got these amazing stories about all the different parts of the world they've been to.
So I keep telling Keith, but he will not have it.
Keith would enjoy it. He'd enjoy the guitar bits as a musician and a children's entertainer.
So this voice message for Clive and Noel is from Greg Villalobos. 100 episodes, well done. Congratulations on reaching that milestone. You've been very persistent. I remember us chatting over my mum's kitchen table way back when. I think we all looked a little bit younger back then. Well done. I'm really proud to have seen how much the podcast has grown, how much you've invested in energy and keeping it going. It's a hard thing to be consistent. It's wonderful to see you learn your craft and get better as you've gone. Your more recent guests have really benefited from everything that you've learned as you've gone. I've really enjoyed seeing you grow. I look forward to seeing you get better and better and better, and the podcast get better and better over time. Just a big fat well done.
So I was having a chat with Simon from Real Riders, REEL. So he's a new podcast and he talks to motorcycling filmmakers. So I think he's done six episodes so far. I get the impression he's worked in radio. So he's a professional sound person. But he said, what were you doing in your first season? Because it sounded pretty rubbish. And I explained to him, we were just sat around a single hard disk Zoom device recorder. But obviously now we've picked up our game a little bit, and pretty much every episode we've done online, haven't we? Apart from Rohit.
I naively thought when you told me about that, I'd seen that link. You sent me a picture the other day of that. There was a screenshot of that podcast. I hadn't really made that connection that it's Real Riders, as in filmmakers. Now, initially, I thought, well, that's a short list, isn't it, that he's got to work at? But it's a huge list of people he can speak to, isn't it?
It's a massive list. And he's keen to speak to proper filmmakers, people that tell a story rather than people that just attach a helmet camera.
That's a great idea.
What do you think are I've got a list here, top 6 most popular, as in by number of downloads? Not critically acclaimed.
First of all, you think, well, it's going to be guests. It's probably not, is it? It probably is tips on trail riding or something that people have found rather than searching out a particular person.
Wrong.
Really?
Yeah, look at the list.
Where is the list?
Do you have a podcast app on your phone?
No, I don't.
Fuck's sake. Do you just listen to it on the links I send you then?
I do, yeah. I've got a weird Chinese phone and it's not friendly in that way.
Try and guess which are the most popular ones.
I have no idea because I'm just conflicted because I think about my most favourite ones.
We'll come on to that. This is by popularity, which, as Sophocles said in 500 BC, is by no means a reliable guide. He said it in ancient Greek, but I've forgotten the ancient Greek now.
I want Austin to be number 1, and it's probably not.
Not even in the top 6.
It's not bloody Ollie, what's his face, is it?
Nope.
And it's not riding tips or anything. It's not the Lels.
Lel's episode is number 6 in the most popular, as in the first one we did with him when we just talked about Break Magazine rather than the riding tips.
What's wrong with people?
The most popular and probably the shittest is the very first episode we did. Because I guess people go, oh, there's a trail and adventure motorbike podcast. I like trail and adventure motorbikes. So I'm going to listen to their first episode.
This is terrible news, isn't it?
It is.
Because they might go back to the first one and think, oh, that's shit, I'm not listening to number 2.
Exactly. Although that doesn't seem to be the case.
You saying that's had most listens than any other podcast?
Than any of our episodes, yes.
Bloody hell.
Second most popular is the Perfect Tech Bike, which is
There you go.
our gang, alternatively known as the Adventure Spec Crew. Third episode, CRF Special with the Lightweight Adventurers, Mark and Jamie. Yeah. Fourth most popular, Greg Villalobos, which was our second episode, which we filmed in his mum's kitchen.
Oh, it was lovely, that one. All I remember about that one is seagulls.
Noisy bloody things, yeah.
And ice cream, because his mum brought us ice creams halfway through.
Probably left those in, didn't I? Pretty avant-garde with my editing even back then. Fifth most popular and the worst sounding was the Tech episode with John Ross, and we sat in a secret location next to a river, and it was really noisy. And then the sixth one was Lel's first episode with Break Magazine.
So John's actually saying, no, I refuse to come back on again.
Yes, he's saying it in a very polite way. That's what he's saying.
I'm going away with him in April. I could just subversively record him.
Yeah, do it. Do it on your phone.
Ferry.
Yeah, your weird Chinese phone. That way the Chinese government will get it as well. Right, so just some statistics about, because it's got quite popular now. We're consistently sort of top 20 in the UK automotive podcast charts, although only 60% of our listeners are based in the UK. Goes down well in most English-speaking countries, Canada, Australia, US. But we get approximately, or just under 10,000 or around 10,000 downloads per month. Now, by a download, that's just somebody listening to it.
Do you see who listens to the whole thing?
Well, that's the thing. You can actually get statistics for it. I think it's called engagement or something like that. And we get really, really high engagement for podcasts. We get 80+%. Some of them are well into the 90s that people actually listen to the whole thing in one go, which is remarkable in podcast territories from what I've heard. We are top 5% podcast worldwide for first 7-day downloads. That's a number of people listening within 7 days of it being released.
Okay.
Are you not impressed with that?
I'm trying to work out. I'm terrible with numbers. We're the top 5% of
first 7-day downloads.
Oh, 7 day down. Okay.
I mean, I thought our listeners were stupid, but for fuck's sake, they've all got it. You're the only one that hasn't.
Yeah.
Top 5% in the world. That's a good thing, right?
That's good. Sounds good.
And we're usually the second most popular motorbike podcast in the UK to a thing called Chasing the Racing.
Chasing the Racing.
It's all about road racing or track circuit racing.
So that's got a massive. It's like fishing, isn't it? There's way more people into it than you would imagine.
They do a good job, though. What are your favourite episodes then?
Well, it was obviously a big deal to me. It's very predictable, this, but when Austin came on, it was a big deal to me, really, just because I'd seen him at so many festivals over the years, and I'd read the book,
seen the film
a long time ago. Saw the film. It was a thing that kind of inspired everything for me. It would be like you talking to you know who and you know who.
No, I think Austin's up there for me as well.
So that was a big thing.
The other thing is he's fucking brilliant at talking.
Yeah, I'd still be really nervous if he came on again. I'd still blow my mind a little bit.
Only because he tells us off every time.
And obviously the Brett thing, that sticks in your mind because of what happened to Brett, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So glad we did that. And I'm even gladder that I got the opportunity with our pilot friend Nick to go out and visit him. That was really special, and meet his wife as well.
It's a very unexpected thing, the ones that you really enjoy doing that perhaps you didn't think you would. Not that you wouldn't think you would, but they just, well, it's different for me because obviously I don't quite often know who it really is quite often until the last minute.
Literally until the last minute. So last week we tried to record one, they didn't turn up. That's the second time that's ever happened. You said to me, "Who is it?" I spent hours doing my preparation. You didn't even know who it was. But then you come on and you'd be brilliant, so that's all right. I'm really proud of the first aid ones we did with Ollie. I think they were good. I mean, more to do with him than us, but I think they're great. And if you haven't listened to those, you should.
Even on the ones where they've sort of been designed to offer advice or give opinions on things, I'm always amazed when people say that they liked them or that they picked something up from them, because I'm never really aware that we are giving any kind of advice, really, other than weeing in bottles. And
people buy things based on stuff we've said, and that always scares me because people said, I took your advice, and I'm thinking, I didn't give any fucking advice. Don't listen to us.
I don't think it's us. I think other people mention stuff when they come on.
Maybe.
I don't think we've ever said you must get a such and such a pillow. That was Thomas that said that.
My Sea to Summit one is particularly good though.
There you go.
Ben King, he's always good value.
I see that. I wasn't there for that one. I think I might have been away on one of my many, many exciting motorcycle trips.
Dylan's was fantastic. If ever, as in Dylan Samwikrama, I still can't say it, if ever I'm talking to somebody and they mention my podcast, which is a big mistake because I'll talk about it a lot, and they're not into motorbikes, I'll always say, this is the one you should listen to, because that's an amazing story, quite unbelievable.
How's your approach to doing them changed? Or has it changed?
I think it's evolved very slowly. So I always do quite a lot of preparation. I'll spend a couple of hours thinking about questions. If they have any films or anything like that, I'll spend quite a bit of time watching films, going through their social media accounts, reading their books, whatever it takes to find out more information about them. I like to structure the conversation. I think this is why we work quite well together, because I will put the questions in a list that hopefully tells some kind of a story. And then you kind of listen and pick up on what they've said and add more. It's like you're putting the petals on the rose.
I used to listen to a podcast called Song Exploder, and I think the guy's name was Rich Rolls. Does that ring a bell with you? Have you ever heard it?
I think it used to be one of my favourites, yeah.
Done many, many episodes. I think he did a TED talk about doing the podcast. It was brilliant. He said a lot of what I would say, but one of the things I remember was just that he'd learned to listen a lot more and learn to talk less. And I still stop myself from butting in quite a lot of the time, because you just think nobody wants to hear my silly question. If someone's in full flow and telling a great story, just let them carry on talking.
It's really easy to make your questions last for too long. So I'll go and edit one of us talking, and we'll ask the same thing 4 different ways. So it's like, right, I could just edit that down to the first time you asked the question and just delete the rest of it.
And that's the other thing that I've been amazed by in so many podcasts, is just how good people are at speaking.
Almost without fail, everybody we've had on, maybe it's just a human thing, right? And everybody's got it.
And I don't know what it is, because it's hard to sort of track time sometimes when you're recording them, or you're very aware of time. But sometimes you think, oh, this story's going on too long. But you've really got to trust the person that they know this story, and it does have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And you've just got to wait a little bit longer. They're probably just getting to the end of the middle bit, and we're about to get to the end bit. So just let them tell it.
I really did enjoy that. Well, we spent effectively a weekend, didn't we, with Rohit Ashok?
Yes.
Toll-free traveller. That was really nice to be able to do it in person and spend a bit of time with him before or after we did it. And that was really nice.
I'm always really impressed with Rohit. He's got such a following. You imagine he's got so many messages to deal with. But he's so good at responding to things, and he's so good at keeping in touch. He's been great like that. One person I'd just like to mention who was really good with me last year when I was laid up was Darren.
Darren Higginson.
Yes, he was great last year. I think because he was injured as well. He was great at checking up on me all through last summer.
Yeah, he's a lovely bloke, actually. Like a lot of these people, he's become a friend, hasn't he? Because we've seen him at various festivals. Every time I go down to Rally Raid, he'll pop his head round the door because he doesn't live far away. Really good guy.
Hi, Clive and Noel. This is Rohit, toll-free traveler all the way from southern India. Let me start by congratulating both of you on the 100th episode of the TAMP podcast. I wonder whether you thought you'd come this far when you started it, but I'm glad you did, and you're delighting audiences all over the world. Now, I know your message to me said that I should probably try and say something rude or funny, but I figured, given that I've had the privilege to meet both of you, I'll bust a myth and let your lovely audience know that despite what you sound like on your podcast sometimes, you're both actually really lovely, wonderful, and kind people. So consider this unofficial invitation. I think now that you've done 100 podcasts, it's time for a change of scene. Looking forward to seeing both of you here in India. You should probably plan a podcast series and come over, do a ride, spend some time here, see a different part of the world. And I'm sure you'll go back with great stories for all your listeners all over the world. Congratulations again, and looking forward to whatever's coming next.
We'll be back after a quick break.
Mental Health Motorbike is a free mental health first aid support charity for the motorbike community throughout the UK. We exist to create meaningful and purposeful opportunities for all bikers so that together we can grow the well-being of the biker community. We do this through one-to-one and peer support, events, training activities and projects, working in partnership with the industry, organisations and clubs. When life gets tough, we are here to support, to listen, to ride, to get some support. You can find more information at mhmotorbike.com. Are you a fan of the thought, if you don't try, you'll never find out if you can? Then you will love Sam Manicom's 4 motorcycle travel books. With just 3 months' experience on a motorcycle, Sam arrived at the edge of the Sahara, aiming to ride the length of Africa. This dramatic 1-year journey turned into an 8-year adventure around the world. Starting with Into Africa, with the word pictures that bring good travel books to life, Sam's 4- and 5-star rated books take you riding and exploring with him, and then Birgit too, through each section of the journey. With laughter, at times tears, and frequently with pure awe, Sam shares just what it's like to travel the world. In the gritty bits, you'll feel the grit. You can order signed copies directly from Sam on sam-manicom.com, or you can buy copies from your local bookshop or Amazon. The 4 books, Into Africa, Under Asian Skies, Distant Suns, which is South America, and Tortillas to Totem, which covers his journeys through Mexico and North America. The 4 books are also available on Kindle and as audiobooks from Spotify, iTunes and Audible. Other favourites?
The sidecar guys, that sticks in my memory mainly because of the brilliant stories they told and his wonderful Texas accent, which was just so good. It's a good story.
They are very, very funny people.
And Lels,
All the Lels. Yeah, Lels, very good.
I mean, he doesn't stay in touch outside of the podcast.
He does with
but
me.
Still.
He invited me to London, remember, to be part of his pre-Dakar event show. That was amazing. Thomas, of course. Thomas Hansen was on a very early episode again and regularly in contact with him.
We can get him on again, can't we?
Be good to get him back on, find out what he's been doing.
Have you seen his films?
His films are getting so good. And he always cites Greg and us as being his initial inspiration, which is remarkable.
I think he says that to everyone.
You're probably right. But if that is the case, then the student has become the master.
Are we going to see him this year?
I'm thinking of doing 1 of 2 trips. Either Norway, but it's such a fucking long way, or potentially me and my good lady wife to go and do the Wild Atlantic, or part of the Wild Atlantic Way in Ireland. And I'm not sure which. We've got a massive family holiday planned now, so that's going to take up quite a lot of holiday.
But with Mrs. Barber, would that be both of you on the KTM?
Yeah. My other favourite, I know you don't like him because you think he's replaced with David Goldman.
David bloody Goldman.
He's an amazing guy. So funny. So sweary.
That was a big shock.
Was
David
it?
Goldman. Don't know what I was expecting, but I was not expecting David Goldman to be like David Goldman. It was amazing, wasn't he? And it was so funny that this bike was being delivered back from a service.
Give me a minute, give me a fucking bike! Have you seen his latest picture? Jay Leno.
Really? Wow.
That's a big deal, isn't it?
What kind of motorbike?
It's fucking a huge collection of motorbikes. It was with his collection of Brough Superiors. There ain't that many of them.
Of course it was.
Massive collection of cars and bikes.
Hey, this is David Goldman from the Motorcycle Portraits. I just wanted to wish Clive and Noel happy 100th episode for the Trail and Adventure Motorbike podcast. Honestly, it probably should be 99 because the podcast that we did together probably should be X-rated and removed for the safety of children's ears. But anyway, happy anniversary. Awesome. So stoked to be part of it.
So We started off doing this podcast, and kind of our idea was that it might lead to us getting to do some fun things.
Yeah.
Just doing the podcast is good fun, right? Meeting all these incredible people.
I always say this to you. Maybe I've not said it on the podcast, but I always go upstairs buzzing from it, really. Even after a long 2-hour session, you sort of go upstairs it's like coming off stage.
Hey, listen, there's somebody waiting in the lobby to be admitted.
What?
It's a special secret guest.
Is it someone we would recognise?
Well, let's admit them and see.
Clive, that guy looks a little bit like, do you remember, it's a while ago now, that guy, Ollie, what was his name? He had a funny surname, Ollie.
You mean this guy?
Let me just read what it says. Favourite Tampod guest 2023. And he's back.
He's back. It actually says favourite TAMP podcast guest, but how are we? We good?
I don't know if it's the hat, but you could quite easily have come on and said, "I'm Ollie Junior. My dad's just out the back."
Does it make me look younger?
It makes you look like you should be holding an adult's hand as they take you through to meet somebody special.
Hi, I'm going on the podcast tonight. This is good, isn't it? I haven't done this sort of stuff for ages.
What was the food like in prison? Because I always hear it's really terrible.
Do you know what, man? I'll say this on there. When you ask me, and you edit this bit in, I will say that I have had people have genuinely been asking me, have you been to prison?
This is great that we're having this conversation because obviously men's mental health is, very much in the press and in the news, and a lot of motorcyclists, care about this sort of thing. So, Noel, I just wanted to check: are you okay?
Yeah.
Great. Ollie, you okay?
Yeah, I'm right.
Great.
Clive, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine, thanks.
He's trying to get more likes on this video for being the Karen. What have you done with Clive? Where is he?
You've come back at a terrible time of year.
Hang on a minute. We can't just let him turn up to the podcast and not ask the question. I know we're probably not going to get the truth, but Ollie, where the fuck have you been?
The truth. What is the truth? This is the Matrix. The truth isn't that interesting.
That doesn't make much difference for what you normally say, but carry on.
So there was this burning orphanage, right? And I had to go and save a load of children. Now, I just got fed up of working for the man. I realised that I want to do more of this sort of stuff, i.e. ride bikes and get paid for it, which I'm sure many of your listeners would like to do, but I'm in a position where I might be able to make that work. I'm trying to get my ducks in a row by doing work here and there to earn a bit of cash so that I'm in a position where I can do a bit of medicine as a freelancer. Because, working for the man sucks. I've worked very hard for lots of different people and it seemingly gets me nowhere. I thought I'd give it a go. But the truth isn't very interesting. That's about as much detail as I'm going to go into. But I've heard all sorts of rumours that I'm all around the world that I've been in prison. I haven't been in prison.
So you've been away for a year.
Yeah.
What was it like when you sort of first stepped away from everything? Did it feel really weird to not be producing lots of content and stuff? Was it a nice adjustment or was it difficult?
It was nice at first, mate. It was, you boys are busy doing this. If you're just down tools, it's a bit like, now I can relax. But then you soon start to miss it. And I came off social media for a bit, only because I had nothing to talk about. So I thought there's no point being on it. And then realised that's the only way I actually keep up with what my mates are up to. So I went back on it just to follow what they were doing. But no, it's good at first. And then I reckon after about 3 months, I properly started pining for the bikes. I didn't go and ride any because I didn't want to injure myself so I could keep being employed. But it went through like waves. Basically, if you boys brought out a really interesting podcast, I think, bollocks, I need to go ride a bike, really. And then that would subside for a bit and then it would come back again.
And then hard to get back into, or did it just feel like you were doing it last week?
No, mate. It was. So I came home. You've probably seen I've just been down to Morocco again because my mate Greg at Wheels of Morocco, shout out to Wheels of Morocco, very kindly invited me down just to go ride, and he basically nagged me to get down there. A bit like Clive nagging me to come back on this podcast.
I didn't even ask you. You fucking messaged me and says, look, I'm back in the country. I'm desperate for attention.
I've got a million texts from you. Don't give me that. Please, Ollie, please. No, it's good. I thought I'd be useless. And so I even said to Greg when I went down there, mate, take it easy on me because I've not been riding for ages, of which his response was, well, the first day's 550 kilometres. And then after that, we're doing some gnarly off-road. But I didn't kill myself, so it was all good. Just like riding a bike.
Yeah. I want to hear all about it, but we need to find a way of doing it without prompting Clive to tell us when he was in Morocco story.
5 times.
Have you been to Morocco, Clive? I've never heard this story.
Don't know how we're going to do it.
before we start gobbing off, what am I actually here for?
I don't know. You wanted to be on it.
You told me to be on it, and I said I was
What are you
busy,
here
and I felt
for?
bad, so I've come on.
You don't need a reason to be here, Ollie. Just
No, but I thought this was like part of your. I don't want to steal the show. I thought this was part of your 100th episode.
It is. It's our 100th episode, and we've asked you to come on a little bit later so we could do our 100th part 1 episode.
And as Clive was telling me before you came on, yours was the number 1, the most downloaded episode we've ever had.
Yeah,
apparently.
Amazing.
Going off the figures, and it was in the first 5% of the first 24 hours of the third month or something.
And you got the award for the most popular guest.
And it made me chuckle because when I asked you who was the most popular guest, you had to remind me it was me.
Even though you've actually brought your trophy back with you.
I think we should thank you again for that amazing film you sent us to show on the screen at the Lightweight Festival. That was very amusing.
That was very funny.
That was one take. My talents
Was
know
it?
no bounds.
I asked maybe 4 people to send one of those videos in that couldn't be there. A bit like the Oscars. If you can't be there, you send a video in. Do you know who did them? Ollie Moto and Chris Birch. They were the only 2. What does that say about you and Chris Birch?
That Chris is a really nice guy and I tried too hard.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
I thought then you were going to say, do you know what? I asked 4 people if they know who Ollie Moto is and nobody knew.
So Morocco, it was very cold in Morocco then.
It was a bit nippy, mate. Yeah, it was a bit nippy in the mornings. We were up in the Atlas, obviously, to get down to the desert. And it was a bit chilly. But I found what works for me down there, and bear in mind, when did I go? January, is all your normal riding gear and a jersey, and then just sticking a gilet on normally keeps you nice and warm. This time I did take a little plug for Adventure Spec, my Adventure Spec Aquapack jacket, just as a wind stop layer, and that worked really well on the properly cold mornings. We've got to layer up in this game because you're freezing cold, and as soon as you start riding off-road, you're red hot. So you've got to keep layering up and down.
And it was all in areas that were new to you.
Yeah, and it was really cool. So Greg, I know we're talking about a lot of Gregs. Greg at Wheels of Morocco, that Greg. Like I said, it was just a mate's ride. They were scouting new routes. So I felt pretty special to be invited down, if you like. So we just went and did loads of cool riding for them to try and find some new stuff for their clients. And we did some pretty tough riding with some, you've done Morocco, Clive. You've been a few
5
times. Some epic views, all sorts of terrain. And there was some fesh, and there was lots of giggles, and everyone fell over and had a bit of a mare at times.
Stupid big bucks again.
You've got to have the talent, mate. It's only me and Chris Birch, apparently.
When are we going to see you back on our small handheld devices again then? What's the future hold? You've mentioned to me you've got something, you've got a big plan, but you're probably not going to tell us that.
No, I'm not going to say my big plan. I'm not supposed to be back just yet. I'm in between work trying to figure out some stuff. Like I said, I've got to get my ducks in a row. So I've released some content. I've got some other stuff in edit that I'd like to release. I wouldn't say this is my major comeback just yet. And I only came back because I was getting nagged to release stuff by your wonderful listeners. But I'm making all of these moves to come back full time at some point. That's the hope, that's the aim, that's the dream, is to be able to do this as more of a career. But at the moment, with a family to feed, I've got to make sure I'm in the right position, which is all very boring adult chat, but that's what's happening right now.
Have you started that big KTM since you got back?
No.
Why not?
Well, because they all got a service before I left, and I put some shoddy oil in them just to sit in storage, and they're all completely drained, as in like vented and run dry, so they can stay like that for the time being. And the KTM doesn't work anyway because it's a KTM.
Have you seen it since you got back?
Yeah, of course I've seen it. It's downstairs in the garage.
All right.
I've seen it. I've sat next to it. I've stroked it.
Yeah.
I've told it I still love it, but no, I've not started it yet.
It's a terrible time of year to come back. What were you thinking?
Yeah, it is a shoddy time to come back.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be cool coming back now because there was Christmas and stuff, but no, you're right, it was rubbish.
Like I said earlier, didn't have any choice, you were sacked. Or his release date came earlier than he anticipated.
Hey, Claude and, is it Niall?
Is it Neil?
Neil.
What's the other one?
Claude and Neil, it's Mark and Jamie here from the Lightweight Adventurers, and we just want to say congratulations, guys.
I can't believe they've been podcasting for 100 years.
100 years. Well done on 100 years, your anniversary podcasting. You guys are doing great.
Hold on, mate. I'm just reading the notes of what he's asked us for. It's not 100 years. It's 100 episodes.
Oh,
it feels like they've been around forever, doesn't it?
Well, 100 years or 100 episodes, whichever one it is, they're both a great achievement. We've listened to 8 or 9 now, and once we get through a few more, we'll probably get round to that.
I have definitely started listening to them since they had us on as a guest.
Guys, genuinely, you've done all right for yourselves.
No, seriously, let's do this seriously. Clive, Noel, congratulations, man. 100 episodes, that's an incredible achievement. So we love you guys, and you're coming to the Lightweight Adventure Festival because I wanted to get a plug in there.
Absolutely, gents. Massive well done. I hope there's another 100 episodes in you guys. Look forward to seeing all the future content you've got coming our way.
Cheers, guys. Bye.
Bye.
We've just been talking for an hour and a bit about our amazing podcast.
Oh, you do a podcast?
And how successful and famous we've become.
No.
How do you think we've changed since we started doing it?
Sorry, I'm talking about Clive.
No, to be fair, I've always been fairly arrogant.
Yeah, but even more arrogant now.
So, if you haven't guessed it already, somebody suggested that we should have our good lady partner, wife, girlfriends on the podcast.
I'd like to know who that was.
I think it was Chris Bone.
Yeah, friend of the podcast, Chris Bone.
Oh.
Would
Troublemaker.
you like to introduce yourselves very briefly and tell us which company you represent?
Team Noel.
You can't both be Team Noel.
I think they can.
Don't just giggle in my fucking ear. Just say who you. Tell us your
You're
name.
such a dick. I'm Rachel, sadly Clive's wife.
I'm Ashley, happily not Noel's wife.
Bizarrely, you both listen to the podcast.
Yes, we do.
Why? You've not even got a motorbike.
Because it's interesting. I love the travel element of it and listening to people's adventures. It's not just about motorbikes. It's about people's experience whilst they're travelling and the countries they've been to. And that just fascinates me.
So it's not true that you just listen to it to see if we've mentioned you then?
No, I also listen to it because I'm a massive fan of Ewan McGregor. Oh, sorry, did I say that?
You know he's not been on though, don't you?
I know that.
Has Clive ever said anything that's got him into trouble at home?
I tell you what did get me into trouble when David Goldman was on. She's going, have you told Noel yet? No, he won't mind.
I stuck up for you, Noel. I was really thoughtful. I said, does Noel know about that?
It was shocking, wasn't it?
Doesn't know fucking Jay Leno.
So this is a question for Ashley. Has me doing the podcast made me more attractive? Same question to you, Rachel. No, that's not a fair question. Do you switch off then, Rachel, if it gets a little bit too... it sounds sexist, this, but if you hear lots of motorbike models...
Rockets and bollocks.
People talking about their
I love it.
ZX130.
Best bit ever.
Is that when you
Probably,
switch off?
yeah, because it's not my field of expertise. I don't switch off because it is interesting still, but I don't relate to it.
But Ashley, you do actually ride, so presumably you...
I do, but I do switch off when it turns to sprockets.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm more interested in the adventure. I like that side.
Rachel, I spend an awful lot of time doing this.
Mm-hmm.
How has it affected your life and our family life?
Well, to be fair, you work in a way most of the time beforehand, so not much difference really. The only difference is like if the kids want you to do something, they notice. It's like, where's Dad? Podcast. So it's become a catchphrase in the house now.
It's a lot of hours. You better appreciate this, you listener motherfuckers. What's your favourite episode? Who's your favourite guest been?
I like the early ones, the Dan and Ed. Do we have to say Chris because he got us
be
on?
offended otherwise.
Yeah. But then I really, really enjoyed the Michael from MCN.
Oh, she really fell in love with Michael Guy, yeah.
I like those ones where they talk about not necessarily bikes, how they got into their trade and
What
everything.
was it specifically about Michael Guy?
Oh, I don't know. It was the way he just started, gave everything a go when he was young.
Jealous, look at him. Look at that face.
Well, he's
I've
young.
never seen him. I didn't Google to see what he looked like.
Really?
No, I didn't. I have no idea what Michael looked like. Why should I?
Yeah, definitely. He's
No,
very
it's
handsome.
definitely not.
Rachel?
Dylan is my favourite one.
Yeah, it's very good.
I don't think I've heard Dylan. Have I?
Oh, it's amazing.
Made the boat out of his bike.
Oh, the film. I think I saw the film, yeah.
I did enjoy the Dakar.
The live show one.
The time Clive was away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you can both go now.
Oh, that was quick.
Can you believe there's been 100 episodes of this thing?
No.
No.
How long has it been rather than episode?
2018, 6 years.
Wow. My
That's
God.
amazing.
The award that you were both nominated for, how many did she do?
Oh, I'd vowed never to talk about this because of the sour grapes. The Independent Podcast Awards, we were beaten by a podcast that had done something like 15 episodes over a 3-year period.
Well, Clive, it's quality, not quantity.
I think that's what the judges said.
See, it's not as easy as it looks.
No, it's really tricky. I've never seen how many bikes are in this garage. God.
Fuck, game's up, Noel. So, Noel, you've been buying and selling.
I've become so despondent. Selling bikes, I've always been telling people it's so easy to stick them on the internet. You'll meet some great bloke who's really into bikes. He'll come round. You'll end up being friends forever, because that's happened to me many times. But in the last month, I've been selling 2 of my bikes, and it's been absolutely torturous. And I don't know what to put it down to without being quite offensive to a large swathe of British population, but maybe it's a Facebook thing.
Yeah.
But my God, see these little reels on Facebook about these jokey reels about selling stuff on Facebook and how weird it is the way people will ask you if something's available and you say yes and then they just disappear. It really happens every day. You would get some quirky thing. The guy that bought my NC was pretty strange. You know, he was still moaning as he rode it away, sending me messages moaning about it once he'd got it home. This bike was fantastic, but he just felt the need just to tell me all the things he didn't like about it. Sent me a message when he got home to say, it's not as smooth as I thought it would be. Well, yeah, well, okay. As our friend Alex said, you know, if you want that kind of 20 grand BMW service, go to a dealer. If you're buying a two grand bike off the internet, yeah. It's been torturous.
If anybody is interested, Noel's selling his old GS 1150. If they listen to this podcast, they're not going to be totally mental, are they?
No,
the funniest
of
one
course
was
not,
all the voice messages you got from that really drunk bloke. How many messages were there? About 10 messages?
Yeah, some of them where he thought he was speaking to his girlfriend in Texas. They were very strange. It's made me think I should just keep the GS because it's not really worth selling for what it's worth at the moment. And I do love riding it, so I might just keep it. It'll have to be wrenched out of my hands now. I gave people the chance, but they didn't want an 1,800 quid GS, so I'll hang on to it. Did I tell you, I think I did tell you, didn't I, that I'd had lots of reassuring messages about my 800 GS purchase. I'm still getting them. Don't worry, mate. I've got one. It's been great.
They're very reliable, aren't they? Oh, yeah. So we were talking about fun things that we've got to do.
We've got lots, haven't we? And I think I'd possibly be going to take them for granted. And I need to kick up the arse to remind me that these wouldn't be happening if we'd not done this.
Yeah, exactly. We've made friends from it. Like really good friends, not just people that have been on the podcast, but people that actually listen to the podcast that we've met up with at Lightweight Adventures, ABR, people we've been riding
Michael
with.
Heaton.
He's got more stickers than I have. But also, we've done some stuff for the TRF at the ABR 3 years ago. I flew to Virginia to meet Brett with Nick. That was amazing.
I mean, Team Yaris, that's the best thing that's come out of it. It's Team Yaris.
I think it probably is, isn't it? Yeah, bunch of people called Adam.
Let's just do a quick resume of how that came about. We're at the Lightweight Festival. I think we meet a few people that we've sort of met online a little bit. Had we before? We didn't meet them for the first time.
I think I posted saying who's coming to the Lightweight Adventures Festival, and a few people said I'm coming, but I'm coming on my own. And everybody that said that, I went, well, just come and hang out with us. We'll have a laugh.
Little did we know they'd become the board of directors for the podcast.
Exactly, and that's what they are. Every decision of any significance goes through them.
I mean, granted, Rory is a silent partner in this.
He's also still a child, so his opinion counts for naught.
Yeah, but once he turns 16, he'll be able to make some executive decisions.
We'll let him choose what fucking sweets to buy or biscuits or something like that.
But Alex, Rory and the Adams have become a big part of life, haven't they? A daily part of life for us.
Yeah, so we're on a chat group with those guys. If we go riding, pretty much everything I do, they get invited to now.
Hello, Clive and Noel. Happy 100th TAM podcast. I expect you'll be getting a letter from the King for reaching this milestone, but just in case it's delayed, I thought I'd wish you all the best while you wait for the postman. I'm probably as surprised as you that you've made it this far, but after climbing to or near the top of the automotive podcast charts in Croatia, South Africa, Ireland, Finland, Iceland, India, Slovenia, Belgium, and even here in the UK, I suppose this day was always going to come. I'm looking forward to the next 100 episodes, though that will be 60 or 70 hours of my life I won't get back, though for a few of them, at least I'll be somewhere in the world and probably on a motorcycle. Ride safe, be it on a big or small bike, and I'll see you around. Cheers.
I did my first trial. Absolutely brilliant fun. I didn't really know what to expect. You turn up, you park your van, you sign on, pay your 20 quid. There was an easy, a clubman, and a more difficult. I think it's 3 different routes on each section. 10 sections, 4 laps. So you do 40 different sections, and I was absolutely toast by the end of the first lap, but I made myself carry on doing it. Didn't come last, beat a couple of kids.
Made some kids cry. It was a brilliant day.
That's how shit I was. But it's one of those things, isn't it? I did that. I've had a trials bike for years. never really ridden it properly. Did half a day's training, which was brilliant, as you know, because you've listened to the podcast. Went and did a trial. It's lovely. It's a really sociable occasion because you're kind of queuing up to get onto each section. So whoever's there, you're just chatting with them. And I'd imagine if you did it with a couple of mates, you could all ride round together. I did it with a mate from Kendal, but we ended up somehow getting split up. Really nice fun, very sociable.
I was going to say, did you feel tested by it? Was there some tricky bits?
Properly difficult, which is why, for me, at my level, which is why I did so badly, actually fell off once.
Any scary bits like really steep drops or steep climbs?
Nothing that really scared me doing the easy section. There was a few steep drops and a few big climbs. There was one that was just literally just a climb up a very steep wall.
And in the fall, did you literally part company with the bike and go flying?
Tried to do a very, very tight turn, and then the front wheel just slipped the wrong way, and I just went flat on my face kind of thing.
Rupert's our inspiration, isn't he? He's the work he's put in is just phenomenal.
I actually posted one of his videos. Have a look on our Facebook. He's doing really well. This has been a fairly short episode, even though we've actually been recording for an hour and a half now, but I think it'll probably be edited down to probably about 40 minutes. But it is only part one. We've got 2 massive guests lined up, and I hesitate to say that they will definitely be here, but
I mean, that's a sign of just how big they are. We don't even know if we've actually pulled it off yet, do we?
Exactly, yeah. So they both said they would do it. They both seem really keen. We've swapped a few messages, both busy doing other things, but said, I'm definitely up for this. So hopefully we'll get them pinned down and get them recorded and get them released in the next few weeks.
Excellent.
Well, that's the end of part 1 of our 100th episode. I hope it wasn't too self-indulgent and you got something out of it. But the best is yet to come. We've got one in the bag. It's coming on Thursday. I thought if we release that on, everybody's just going to listen to that one first and ignore this one. So the next part I'm going to release on Thursday morning. It'll be 5 a.m. Thursday morning, so you can listen to it then. We're still hopeful. We've got 2 other fantastic, very well-known guests that will join us. I keep sending them emails. We've got nothing scheduled yet, but hopefully we will have. Listen, thanks a million for listening. Thanks a million for supporting us over the last 6 years. Those of you that have been around and listening for that long, we do appreciate it. We enjoy meeting people at all the different events and things that we go to. We get an awful lot of fun out of doing this, as you hopefully can tell. I just hope everybody else does as well. So listen, thanks a million. We really appreciate you. And now I'm going to play a little clue about who's coming up on Thursday. I think you'll be able to get it straight away from the accent. See you soon.
That was really cool that you contacted me, because I was sitting somewhere in Norway at the time, and I thought, what's this trail? Hang on, what is it? What's the name of this show? Trail.
It just flows off the lips, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I had to Google it and checked it, and I listened to a few, and I thought, who are these old geezers? It just that intro twang that you've got going, that little thing, it's so English, because we were raised on a lot of English shows like Fawlty Towers and that sort of thing, right? And I'm listening to this podcast sort of wind up, and it's, I don't know, 2-3 minutes in, you dropped a couple of F-bombs, and I thought, oh, these guys are all right. They actually sound like they know what they're talking about. They're talking about every single dirt bike on the planet. I thought, yeah, no, they're the real deal. And judging by what parked behind you there, Noel, yeah, you guys live bikes.
Thanks for listening. We really appreciate your support. Don't forget you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And if you really appreciate what we do, you could consider supporting us on Patreon or buy us a coffee. Links are available on our website, which is tampodcast.com, tampodcast.com, where we also have a limited selection of branded stuff. But either way, please keep listening and spreading the word. See you next time.